And keep laughing. Keep laughing. Real funny, huh? If any one of you that doesn't respect me, you'd have a big dump in your pants.
Hello, you little bastards. You've made it just in time for the vocal minority with Nick and Steve, a la Brewski. If it's your first time tuning into the podcast,
welcome to the show.
You'll soon realize that Nick is very decent and just about as sweet as cherry pie. He's one of few that has never done anything wrong.
There's a big part of me that likes to help elderly people across the street. Only I take them about halfway. Okay, and then I just leave them there. I find I'm still doing more than the average person, so it is what it is.
Steve is a guy that's exceptional, exceptionally horny. You definitely wouldn't want to have him around your mom if she's hot, but you will want him at every party. Who brings their mom to a party anyway? He's about as loyal as one person can be, and he loves his female fans.
Oh, I do. I got a fan under the desk. I got a big one over here off to the side blowing me off the camera.
Steve Harness!
How do I even begin to tell you about Brewski? His mind is a vault of semi-useless information. Useless until you need it. It's at that very moment that his oddly overgrown brain will seduce you like Fabio and low-calorie butter.
It's time for another Brewski. This one is a crazy Brewski.
You're right, dude. We get it.
Someone get me some Cheetos!
Will you please move on, dude? You're right, okay?
Let's get the podcast going, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the vocal minority with Nick and Steve.
Your sweetness. This is Nick and Steve, Brewski. We're here, back. The vocal minority, and it's another exciting week here on the podcast network of one.
Yes, find us on the World Wide Web thing, thevocalminority.net, and we're on social media. We're there. You'll find us.
Hey, dude, you got in I almost said a fight on social media, but you,
did you see that?
Yeah, you went back at somebody, and I thought it was so funny, because we usually just let it be with people that we're friendly with, our friends.
Yeah.
But, you called somebody out, and it was a great call out because this post, Brewski, was like, grocery prices in 1972. You spent $4 for this. The same stuff, 20 years later cost, $10. Now it's up to $60.
No,
and,
the specific thing was, it was the guy from Home Alone. It was, whatever, Kevin, right? That was his
Macaulay
name.
Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, but he was Kevin in the movie, right?
Right.
Yes.
The meme was, him doing his hands on either side doing the face. And it said, during the movie, Kevin's groceries cost $19.86. A year ago, Kevin's groceries would have cost $45. This year, they would cost $75. I noticed in the lower corner of the meme was a little elephant. It was from the GOP. Somebody put it out there.
Yeah.
It's baloney. So I pulled up the statistics from the Labor Department as to how much have groceries increased from November 2022 to November 23. It increased 2.9%. So that means $45 worth of groceries a year ago would cost about $48, this year, not $75. The year prior was a 10% spike, I will say. But even if you go 10% of 45, that's only like $55 it would cost you. Now, so it was just total propaganda garbage. And I even said to my son, I'm like, I'm tempted. I don't want to start fighting. So I tried to make a joke. I said, I guess Kevin's shopping at Whole Foods this year because those prices are way higher.
The math doesn't add up, dude. Right. It's funny because these people that we're discussing are friends of us, and the male counterpart to this is posting a lot of stuff on TikTok, and it's all Trump rhetoric and kind of garbage. And
is this somebody I know?
No.
Okay.
No, this is a Tahoe.
Oh,
guy.
okay. So nobody I know.
But he gets a ton of views, dude. And I'm just because he just spits this rhetoric out, and a lot of the time he'll have just him in the background being like,
right.
Well, what's up
he
with
just
that?
does the duet thing on a popular pro-Trump video, and some of his videos he's gotten 1 million views. But it's only because he's taking a popular trending video and he's not adding to it. He's just recirculating it.
And he knows it. He knows the system and his formula. But
well, I know TikTok is good for our videos and that sort of thing, but that is like the home for the low information news gatherers. If people go there for their news, they're the idiots that believe everything they see, every single video. They start sharing it and saying, "Look at this! Can you imagine this?" And then when you give them facts, and they're not just conservatives either.
Yeah, sure.
They're
I hope
literally-
no one's getting news per se from TikTok, but
Unless
no,
it's our
most-
news clips, you
Right.
know, that they're watching.
No, most college students these days will cite TikTok as their first place where they get their news from.
yeah, no.
No,
And
it's a
maybe if
sad
you're-
world.
If you're getting the CNN feed or something, I don't know, but no. And this guy, by the way, we're talking about, every time I talk to him about it, he always claims, like, I don't believe that stuff. I know I get views for it, and I think it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you do believe it or not, but okay.
Well, yeah,
I think
that-
there's a part of him that believes it.
A little
You
bit,
know,
yeah.
he just doesn't want. He doesn't want to stand up when he has to talk to somebody face to face about it. Then he's not a tough guy anymore. Did I tell you guys about the Uber passenger I had who baited me into a talk about the Israel Hamas thing?
No.
Oh my God, yeah. So we're in the and I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm like 2 minutes from where I'm dropping this guy off. I said to hold my tongue for 2 more minutes.
What was he poking? Which side?
Oh, he's
Is he pro Hamas or pro?
yeah, exactly. He's
Israel?
just,
Okay.
oh my God, you should have heard him. I mean, he completely had his tongue up their ass like you wouldn't believe.
Wow.
And so finally, I let loose, and then he started calling me a Zionist MFer. And he started getting in my face and pointing his finger in my face and calling me names like that. So I'm throwing him out of my car at this point. I'm already at his stop, right? Wouldn't you know it? I put my car in the park. I get out of my car and I say, "You have an effing problem with me?" And I start walking towards him with intent because I'm ready to do some violence like that, right? At this point, the Hamas tough
I'm ready
guy-
to do some violence. That's a good quote.
At this point, the Hamas tough guy starts yelling to a car driving by, "Help! Help! Call 911! Call 911! He's gonna beat me! He's gonna beat me!" And I was just like, "You damn effing straight! I'm gonna beat your ass!" And he starts like, "Call 911! Call 911!" He starts like calling his friend on his phone, like, "You gotta let me in! You gotta let me in!" And
You should have kept him in your car and kidnapped him and told him, "What's the big deal? Your buddy Hamas kidnap people all the time."
Yeah,
Now take your pants off and I'll rape you real quick to show you what it's really all about.
Right.
Now let's just see you drop them pants.
Yeah.
Drop,
Funny. So how did that end?
take them right off. Well,
5-star
here's
review.
Yeah. How was your tip?
No, he actually reported me to Uber.
Ah.
And I actually reported him to Uber, and also I gave a very detailed account of the conversation. I have a very good memory.
Sure
and,
you
and,
do.
I gave Uber an incredibly strong, detailed conversation of the
I'm
conversation.
sure they'll have your back, right? If you are the pro Hamas one, they may can your ass, but
No.
defend.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Well, and what was he expecting? I mean, you bring up a controversial topic. Half the people, probably not even half, I don't know, but some percentage are going to not like what you're saying,
He
Yeah,
was
exactly.
looking for it. Those people are looking for it, and they're assuming that you'll be someone that's timid and shy, and they're not looking for you to come back at them. I mean, that's the whole power grab, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
what makes it all so disgusting.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
I need to know.
He needs to know, and he needs to know now.
Before we meet, there's some news you need to know about.
I need to know now.
Needed to know.
Need to know.
I need some news. I need some news.
The news needs to come from me.
The news has come.
Best news I've heard all day.
Okay, everybody, time to shut up and listen. This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
News.
Come over here, baby. Bring that sweet ass over here.
Is that me?
Yes,
Dude, you ask
not
that every
me.
time, dude. That's you. That's you
I ask it every
imitating
time? You
a
played that
Brooklyn
before?
guy. Yes, you've said that over and over. Every time I play that, you say, is that me? That's not me.
On this podcast, in the modern era, you've played that before?
You
Yeah.
said it in the modern era when we were talking about catcalling, and yes, you've said it every time I've played it. You say that.
Come over here, baby. Bring that sweet ass over here. Yeah, all right. Now it's all coming back to me.
Okay, good.
That sounds like my typical New York guy impersonation. So
Yeah.
I'll embrace that.
All right.
All right. News you need to know. Everyone's into sex tapes nowadays, right? I mean, it seems like everyone's dropping their latest, release. Very common, by the way.
It is?
I would say sex tapes have become more common, but certainly sending nude pictures to each other has become very mainstream and very common.
Yeah.
You
haven't
do it
dated in
with
like 15
your
years.
daters?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean that I can't do it with my wife, dude.
It does not mean that, but if you guys didn't ever start that 15 years ago, did you? It would be weird to start it up now, but.
Oh, I think it is relatively a new, last 10 years.
So are you saying you have? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I mean, of course I have. Yeah.
Of course you have. Well, okay. You're making my point then. It's become very
common. Sent any to you.
Right. Hopefully not. Yeah.
Yeah. I sent you Brewski sex pictures, just
that is true.
laying. Yeah.
You've sent me pictures of Dick Clark before. That's a dick pic.
That is a dick pic. Yeah. Let me be frank and clear that I don't think I've ever taken a dick pic of myself.
Oh.
Have you?
One time only.
And why one time only?
I've always frowned on the practice. I'm old school. If a woman wants to send me a picture of herself, that's cool. But women really don't want to see that.
That's how I feel.
Right. But there was a scenario with Dottie where we hadn't seen each other in a week or two, and we were just all fired up one night, and if requested, I will respond. So I did, and I was the only one. My face is not in the picture, I will tell you. So no one can ever pin me to it if
I go to big head, but your little head.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, they become very common, and I think I've said on the podcast before that really we should be shaming the guys that keep those pictures and then use them against the woman, the revenge porn stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because it has become so commonplace. Women nowadays just do that stuff. So you're the douchebag if you're holding on to that and using it against the woman later. So there's that.
I would agree.
Now, if you're keeping it, but if you're keeping it because you want it like for spank bank material, then that's
keep it yourself, private. Don't share it with friends. Don't post it online. No revenge porn. Like that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, personally, and I will tell you this is 100% true. When I break up with someone, I dump all those pictures. I don't want them anymore. I don't want to see that person naked or whatever. But
too painful or just a respect thing or both.
It's just I don't know if painful is the right word, but just. I'll just go watch
turn
porn.
Your crank.
Like, why do I now want to see my ex's boobs or whatever? Like,
I get it.
So here's just on that point.
Yes, to each his own. By the way, if you
the Jen basically got rid of all the photos of me and her when we broke up. Right?
Oh, like holiday pictures and stuff.
All of it, everything, any picture, any picture. Yeah, exactly.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Okay, but. She had all these albums with pictures with her and a couple of her old boyfriends that she had gone on these trips with and all that sort of thing. So what does that say about me? If she got rid of my pictures, but has she been? I didn't ask if she kept Roderick and Matthew's pictures too.
Right.
But
it could just mean it was too painful with you, dude.
I guess
it could mean that.
Yeah. My philosophy on that is I've gone through and deleted. Not for my ex-wife, because there was too many things. There was 17 years worth of pictures, but like with ex-girlfriends, my philosophy, like with the Hindenburg, was if it's not like a Christmas picture with me and the kids and her, and we're by the tree, like it's a holiday or something, where I don't want to delete the picture of my kids at Christmas a couple of years ago, and she was there, so I kept those. But almost 99% of everything else is just the two of us. Like I don't need it.
I get it.
I don't need it on my Facebook memory popping up on one day. So
I still got all the pictures, dude. Maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, Rachel was married before and she was like, we were cleaning the garage out and there was a picture of her first wedding in the garage. And she was like, oh, I'm going to toss this. And I was like, don't toss that, dude. Your dad is in that and your dad's dead. Like, why would you toss that? Who cares? Like, I'm not threatened by it. For sure. And you don't have to look at your ex in it and be like, oh, those were good times. You can remember your dad. So I think it's weird to get rid of pictures. You may end up regretting it and then you can't get it back.
Time will tell. I feel safe with my choices.
Yeah, you're safe, dude, because, I agree, dude. You got the kids there and everything like that. Like, if it would have just been a picture of her and her ex standing at the altar, like, I would have said, get rid of it. But if it's got your dad or someone else in it, it's a different story.
No, it's the same thing. I had an ex that told me she threw out her wedding album and then, oops, grandpa died. And there's so much great pictures that were in there.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
So, you got to be careful about that. However, I will tell you, my sister called me at one point and was like, I love that your ex-girlfriend's on every other frickin' page of my wedding album. I'm sorry.
Oh, that is something, dude. I mean, it's something you can't forecast, right? I mean,
no.
It's not like
at the time we were engaged to be married. It was a family wedding. Of course she was there. But then, yeah, she was in all the pictures.
Photoshop's an amazing tool, dude.
All right. Well, my point is sharing pictures and sex tapes, it's all become very common. We all know the government is always out to screw us, but who knew they were out to screw each other? Headline, Senate staffer accused of filming a sex tape in a Senate hearing room.
Ooh,
a Senate staffer is no longer employed, quote unquote, after being linked to a sex tape that purportedly showed two men having sex in the Senate hearing room. Like the one you see on like CNN and stuff, like not some back office. Like they had a little gay party in the Senate hearing room and they filmed it.
That is the ultimate, right? I mean, that is the ultimate dream. Like, I know that you said that you had sex in the studio, all the studios we've worked in.
That's fair. Maybe that is how they thought of it. Because, that's always a goal. Like,
reclaiming my time.
Taboos. Reclaiming my time. That's hysterical.
Yes. So, just a few days ago, the Daily Caller published a censored version of the video, which they said was filmed in the Senate hearing room. Other publications alleged that one of the men in the video was Aidan Mays Shapowski, a staffer of Senator Ben Cardin, Democrat from Maryland.
Okay.
According to the publication, it was leaked from a private group for gay men in politics.
Wow.
So, Brewski's always talking about his celebrity naked pictures. We questioned if they're all real. If you see two dudes banging in the Senate hearing room, it seems like it's real.
Yeah, it must be, dude. I mean, like you said, it is a phenomenon. And why would it just be with us degenerates that it's happening? It's happening with everybody out there.
I thought for sure you were going to say that it was Matt Schlapp who was part of that whole thing.
I actually would have been less surprised if it had been a couple of staunch conservatives, but at least one of them's a Democrat, which in some ways makes sense, more pro-gay. But
they're working across the aisle,
Yeah, there you go. Instead of reaching across the aisle, let's reach around.
Reach around the aisle. Did we all hear about Bridget Ziegler, the Moms for Liberty co-founder?
Yes.
That was just in a little scandal of her own.
Yeah, is she the one that was giving mom advice and then she had her
No. That's completely different. Moms for Liberty is the people that are doing all the book bans and all that sort of thing, and that the books are harmful to children. Meanwhile, she's engaging in like orgies and gangbangs and stuff like that.
They've got her on one with her husband, her husband is Christian Ziegler, the head of the Florida Republican Party, and she is a big proponent of don't say gay. She's, against all the LGBTQ plus community, and she was in a threesome with another woman. So
I saw the viral video. I don't know if I don't want to pull your audio or anything, but of the high school kid testifying.
Yeah, which was fantastic.
Yeah, this high school kid basically stands up at a public meeting and says, like, you deserve to be fired because you're anti-gay, you're banning books. Like, you deserve to be fired for 100 reasons. None of them are your personal sex life, though.
Right.
And he got applause. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, who cares who she's banging? You deserve to be fired for all your bigotry and hatred and everything else.
Exactly. Holding her to the fire. But it just goes to prove that everyone's into it, dude. I mean, everyone's into, hey, we're all sexual deviants on some level at some time in our life, right?
I don't consider it deviantness. I consider it awesomeness. But, I mean, people are people.
Awesomeness.
Just fly your freak flag loud and proud,
I agree. Maybe deviant is the wrong word. I just mean like, sometimes we want to have sex in certain places, and why can't we, dude? No was in there conducting a hearing. It's good use of tax
It's
dollars.
like the story we did a couple of weeks back about the priest that got outed as being gay and he killed himself.
Right.
Like that stigma that we put on all this stuff is so toxic and harmful that, someone gets outed, they feel they need to go kill themselves or whatever it is. So, people, be yourselves. As long as you're not harming people or doing things unconsensual, then have fun. We're only on this ball once.
That's right. And we don't know for how long, for crying out loud.
All right, so get on my ball.
Yeah, what do you get? Are you getting horny, dude? You starting to feel some horn? I mean, some holiday horn.
I'm at a 2-month threshold right now. That's that's getting up there for me.
You start committing, you start playing all the 5-on-1, yanking that horn.
Oh, listen, I've been telling Nick, I have to do medicinal masturbation so I don't make bad choices in life. You get too much baby batter up there. You start thinking, that X of mine, or maybe I will call that one. Maybe, no. Yeah. Keep that stuff cleansed.
Yeah, but bad choices always lead to really good stories.
That's true, dude.
And court hearing dates and therapy sessions and
details.
Right.
Yeah, all the small stuff. Come on.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Welcome to the vocal minority.
It's like the Futurama. I always set this off now. Everyone get out.
It's Pavlov, dude. As soon as I hear it, I know that all three of us will give a little Paul Harvey. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we'll go into some Trump talk shortly here. I will say that this first clip I'm going to play for you, partially we've heard some of this clip, but Trump is obviously out on the scene spewing his rhetoric right now in so many different ways. And it's just nice to see certain people on the Republican Party stand up and say it's gross and disgusting. And I know Brewski has a problem with, certain people like Chris Christie thinks, he's got a bone to pick with them, so it doesn't mean as much, and I take your point, but it's still nice to have somebody standing up on stages where debates are happening and saying like, hey, everybody, this isn't normal. This isn't normal. And Chris Christie has been doing a good job of it.
He has. It's nice to hear it. And it's even more humorous to hear that no one cares in your audience.
Isn't it? I don't know if it's humorous. I think it's real sad, dude.
I choose to laugh. You could cry at it, yeah.
You could cry. I will tell you, dude, that I have someone in my family who, and it's not my brother, that is a Trump supporter, and he was hardcore, like, he's going to do excellent things for the country, all that stuff. And then he was like, hey, Trump's doing great things with taxes, dude. I'm doing great. And that's all I really care about. I saw them a couple of weeks ago, and I got to say, I was floored. He was like, I got to tell you, dude, I would never vote for him again. And all these taxes are starting to catch up with me. And I'm more screwed now than I've ever been with taxes, which was the way he set it up. It was by design. But to have someone step up and say something to you and eat crow is rare.
Very rare. And kudos to him or her for having the the cojones to admit the error. So that's good.
For sure.
We need as many of those people as possible. The whole, I don't love Biden, but I can't possibly vote for Trump again thing. So.
Right. Trump was at a rally. He started to say some of his rhetoric again, which we've heard in the past. I'll play you the audio, and then you'll hear Chris Christie's response to it. He was on with Jake Tapper.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country.
He's disgusting. And what he's doing is dog whistling to Americans who feel absolutely under stress and strain from the economy and from the conflicts around the world. And he's dog whistling it to blame it on people from areas that don't look like us. The other problem with this is the Republicans who are saying this is okay.
He has been, Chris Christie's been in Congress a long time, in politics a long time. And he was he's been friends with Nikki Haley for a long time. And even in some of these most recent debates, when Ramaswamy was talking down to Nikki Haley and calling her names when, what's Florida douchebag? DeSantis. He said, wait, I've known this lady for 20 years and she's a good person. We disagree on a lot of things, but you can't call her stupid. You can't call her, a bad person. So he's standing up for certain people, and it's important that everybody knows that.
I love that he stands out for that, by the way.
Isn't it? I mean, this is not huge, right? But it is. I think this is important because to the people that are feeling discouraged about what they're seeing in the news cycles that are going on with our country and seeing things that are happening around the world that are in peril and they're scared. This is a huge dog whistle to say, I'll put an end to all this. Donald Trump has vowed that he will use American military to send to the borders, to send around our country to keep immigrants out, or, people coming in illegally.
I wouldn't say it's a dog whistle. I mean, that's a dog megaphone.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, the classic poisoning our blood and people coming from Africa and Asia. I mean,
those words were chosen very carefully, right?
Right.
Poisoning
that's top of the mind for him, and that's exactly what he thinks. The black people and the Chinese. That's what's all the problems.
Yeah.
And poisoning our blood. I mean, wow.
We go to the debate stage where Ramaswamy has been he's been making the circuit lately, going on a lot of different podcasts and stuff like that. And some people feel like he's dangerous. We were watching something the other night. He came on, and I said this to you guys, and I said it to my wife the other night. I said, Ramaswamy would be very dangerous if he wasn't brown. And Rachel looked at me like, what the hell? And then she was like, oh, I see what you're saying. I was like, yeah, not because of me, but because, a lot of Trump's base is going to have a hard time latching on to him.
Yes. I had said that after his first debate when everyone started talking about him, because Trump started praising him, and Ramaswamy thought maybe I'll be vice president because he knew there was no way he's going to be president. But you really think Trump's going to embrace a brown man on any level, on any platform? Hell no, buddy. You don't even understand. He's out there trying to be the staunch conservative, but he is what they don't like. He can't be conservative enough to hide his ethnicity.
Right.
Yes.
And that's a sad statement. But it's true. You think Trump and the conservatives would embrace him, vote him president?
Trump will use you. Trump will use you to try and gain some black and brown population in his voting pool, but you're not doing anything with him. Well, like I said, Ramaswamy has been making his way around a lot of podcasts, and I mean, some low-level podcasts, and I'm like, wow, he went on that. That's crazy. But he was on CNN the other night, and I thought he is getting more and more aggressive as time goes on, and I'm starting to see him. Somebody came out and said, oh, Trump said he loves you. And I didn't find any audio of it, but people are saying that.
He said it, Trump did.
Trump said
because Ramaswamy said that Trump was the greatest president ever. So Trump, of course, was like, oh, how about this Ramaswamy guy? He's pretty smart.
Great. Right. So, but I noticed that Ramaswamy, who has been doing all these shows, is starting to get a little more Trumpy in his delivery of stuff, wanting to shock people. This was on CNN the other night.
And then you get the mainstream media. You got this character, Van Jones, on CNN afterwards saying, this is the rise of an American demagogue who's going to live 50 years longer than Trump. This is dangerous. I am shaking. That's what he says. Just shut the up. At a certain point, just shut the up. Van Jones at CNN.
Yeah, I rewinded to a week and a half ago where he was doing a town hall and somebody asked him, how important do you think it is in this world for us to be able to show our kids a president and say, maybe one day you could be that, you could be that one day. And he said, that's how I'm running my whole campaign. I want my kids to be able to look at me and be like, this is possible. And I need to set a good example. And then this is a week later, he's all riled up on this, trail.
Dropping F-bombs.
Dropping F-bombs. I don't know. I think you're wanting to get more involved in this Trump side of things because you ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Well, and the other thing, I was going to say, Van Jones has been rump swapping with the Republicans for the longest time, so I don't know why he's got a problem with them.
Picking on him. Yeah. Probably because he's a minority. He thought he would be an easier target than a blitzer or whatever. So, but yeah, well, Ramaswamy, you're showing your kids how not to present yourself in public and that a brown man will never be embraced by the conservatives in this country. So hope your kids are paying attention.
Yeah. That's true.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Start the news chant, please.
Please.
Come on. News.
It's time for another Brewski. This one is a crazy Brewski.
I can't believe I'm doing this with my pants off.
It's all right, brother. Get comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, I bring you stories, a story of safety, safety on the roads. And I don't know if anybody has seen this, but Tesla has a massive recall of 2 million vehicles.
Yes.
Now, could it be something to do with emissions? No, obviously, because they're all electric vehicles. Could it be do something like bad stereos or something like that? No, not at all.
Some component piece that must be malfunctioning.
Exactly. It's got to be something small like that. You know, something, some awful carpeting or something like that.
It has to be like hardware stuff, you know. It has to be hardware stuff.
It can't be software because that's the shining star of Tesla, right?
Right.
It's
Exactly.
got to be hardware, dude.
I mean, he is a genius, the Elon Musk, and there's no way that
So
a
I'm told.
genius would have this sort of problem with his gold
baby.
star.
Crown
his
jewel,
baby.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the problem?
Oh, well, they have this auto drive feature where you take your hands off the wheel and you just kind of sit back and relax while the car drives itself.
Heavily touted, yes.
Yeah, well, it's too bad because now they're finding that they cited safety concerns. The autopilot features are either too confusing for many drivers to easily misuse.
That seems to me like before you roll out a autopilot thing, that thing should be tested 1,000,000 times between here and Sunday and should be as user-friendly as possible.
I've been driving next to people on the freeway and seen people reading books, you know, using this autopilot, and I always get as far away from them as I possibly can. The, you know, all these Elon Musk supporters now, because he's, you know, become this political figure, are saying, hey, the media is blowing this out of sorts. This is not a recall. This is a while charging update. We get updates for the software all the time. This is just that, but every car needs it.
Well, but here's the thing though. This auto steer feature provides steering, braking, and acceleration support to drivers in certain conditions. This isn't just updating software in the car,
radio
like
or something.
The newest version of Apple CarPlay or something like that.
Right.
This thing could accelerate you, and then you can't step on the brakes and stop it because it has full control over everything like that, and you're barreling down the road like a damn missile.
Yeah, reading a book, you know, because you have faith in this hugely expensive car you bought that has been touting for years that it was going to be an auto driving car. So, yeah, and 2 million cars recalled. That's not something minor.
No, that's big.
No, I find it hilarious. And have you guys seen the Cybertruck in real life yet? Has those been around your necks of the woods?
I have seen them. They're pretty incredible, dude, as far as you can't shoot an arrow through them.
Yeah,
but
that's
as far
amazing.
as driving, they've done real bad things.
They're incredibly crappy looking, if you ask me.
Yeah, I was going to say the aesthetic of those things I find to be very unappealing. I love you can't shoot an arrow through it. So if you know Robin Hood is chasing you, I guess you're safe. So that's right. I've seen one here in town. You know, I got the whole Bay Area just down the road. I figured it'd not be too long, and I have seen one up here. But there's a great video that came out this past week because somebody was out in the snow on an off-road trail that looked very benign to me, and the Cybertruck couldn't do it. It got stuck, and a Ford, of all things, had to tow the Cybertruck off of this little snow. It was like inches of snow. I mean, it wasn't.
I saw that video too.
I don't even know if it was inches, dude. It looked like a little dusting. I mean, it was pretty meager.
I mean, any 4-wheel drive vehicle should have been just fine on this to call it off-road is using the term very loosely. I mean, the road was it was just the side of the road, and there was a little snow and dirt, and it couldn't do it.
It looked like he was going out to get a Christmas tree, you know? Like, it was meager.
It was. They were getting a Christmas tree, and there was other cars around. I mean, it wasn't some desolate area out in the middle of nowhere. And I will tell you, too, what you were just saying about the fact you can't shoot an arrow through that thing. They're finding in crash tests that because the outside, the steel frame or the steel panels they have surrounding it, that it is so strong that if it hits something head on, it distributes the force internally into the car, to the passengers. You want your frame to collapse. You don't want that force being distributed inside the vehicle. And they're finding now that because it is so rugged that it actually it's counterintuitive. It's hurting the people that would be inside.
Just shaking the yolk inside the egg, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's so heavy that when you hit somebody else with it, you're probably going to kill them, and then that transfer power all comes back on you. It's a nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
Unless you're hitting like a 72 Buick, or Olds 98, those old land yachts from the 70s. But you'd have to there aren't a lot of those on the streets these days.
No, unfortunately, we all see the trucks with it, fake nuts hanging off like the trailer hitch or whatever. Like, you just know it's a douchebag driving it, and who wants that car? Right? It's only somebody with a tiny D and, that's got something to prove. When Elon went on Joe Rogan, and, I like Joe Rogan. I like some of his conversations that he has with people and stuff like that. I feel like he sucks Elon Musk's nuts when they're together. And when they took him out in that garage and said, fire an arrow at him, I was just like, are we shooting a compound bow at a vehicle here and just raving because, the public can now buy something you can't shoot an arrow through?
Right.
So it's not the
it's
type
a good
of
safety
technology.
feature, and I totally agree. Joe Rogan has a major hard-on for Elon Musk, and I don't quite understand why. Rogan's extremely wealthy, more popular than Elon Musk, but yeah, he definitely loves the guy.
Why do we talk about Elon Musk in politics and the people that he sides with? Like, why is any of that in our conversation?
He's put himself out there. He's made himself that. And as he's realized now with Twitter, it's backfiring on him because, you can't run a media company and be polarizing like that. You're going to lose advertisers.
Oh, you need those?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. The car nuts that you were talking about, that people put on the back of their trucks. It's always conservatives that do that, right?
Yes.
Don't you find it funny that they're assigning a gender to their vehicle?
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way.
Some irony there, right?
There's some irony there.
You put balls on a inanimate object. You just made it male. You've just said that it's okay to assign a gender based on what you feel it is.
Yeah, you're identifying your truck as a male.
Well, I sent you guys that story recently about the thing for the guns.
Oh, yeah. There was some stock thing. There was a pair of nuts, so you could hold the nuts on the gun barrel, right?
Yeah. You got to cradle a pair of testicles while you're firing your automatic weapon. Yeah.
I mean, how Freudian, how compensating that you think you need a pair of artificial nuts on your gun to hold on to. I mean,
what I'm saying, dude, just come out and be gay if that's what you are, dude. Please, just be free, be gay, be happy.
You're compensating, literally and figuratively. So.
Yes. Well, good luck to Elon.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about more Republican hypocrisy, because it's just a recurring theme in many, many of our news stories. Even when Republicans try to do something right, they, in my opinion, shine a big spotlight on the fact that they're gigantic hypocrites. Florida Republican Party suspends their chairman, demands resignation amid rape investigation. The Republican Party of Florida suspended Chairman Christian Ziegler and demanded his resignation during an emergency meeting Sunday, adding to calls by Governor Ron DeSantis and other top officials for him to step down during the investigation of rape. Yet, the torchbearer of your party, Donald Trump, has been convicted of sexual assault, accused of rape multiple times. No one's ever asked him to step down. They've been offended at the notion that he should step down. And 100%. Certainly they're offended over, if you're not found guilty of anything, why should you be stepping down? So here they are, though. When it's not the crown jewel guy, they're a little more logical, I guess. Like, you've been accused of raping someone, you got to step down. But they don't do that across the board.
No, you cannot get around Trump, dude. We know that. They just don't care. It doesn't mean anything to them, and they will talk their way out of anything to do with Trump. But yeah, Ron DeSantis, Trump's talking crap on him, so they'll go against him.
And I love that DeSantis is in the story where he's calling on the guy to resign for rape allegations, but is a huge Trump supporter. I mean, I know the running aides together, but he still loves Trump and would support him and all that.
Yes.
He's been convicted of this.
Yeah. I don't get it, Steven. I don't understand. There was a guy that was hanging out at a Trump rally, and he wrote a song and was singing it to the crowd. And I thought, that is such a perfect thing to sing to Trump supporters. He was obviously a liberal, and he came to mess with people, but they don't even know it. That's how stupid they are. Right. He makes this song. They're waiting in line and they start dancing and singing along. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
This little Trump insurrection, I'm gonna let it slide. Everybody, this tiny Trump insurrection, everyone, we're gonna let it slide. This little Trump insurrection, come on, we're gonna let it slide.
Dude, people are dancing and smiling and laughing, and they love it. He goes on.
Sex allegations, come on, we're gonna let it slide. Everybody, these 40 sex allegations, come on, we're gonna let them.
People are loving it, dude. They don't even realize
no
it.
self-awareness.
I'm just gonna let it slide, dude. That's exactly how they feel.
We're going to do a callback here to Nick's story, because this is the same, this Christian Ziegler that you're just talking about right now. He's the guy that's married to the Moms for Liberty lady who's doing all the
Yes.
gangbang, the rape.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the same Christian Ziegler. So you've got the wife who's banning books and all that sort of thing, and she's involved in all this other sexual activity, and now you have her husband who's now have rape allegations against them, all connected to Ron DeSantis, Republican Party in Florida.
Yeah, these are the people, dude, that are standing up and saying everything that regular folks are out here doing in this country, living their lives, whether you're gay or trans or whatever. It's all wrong. But behind closed doors, this is common practice for people that speak loudly like this about these things.
Yeah. Do you think they really have no self-awareness, or do they just don't care? Like, we're going to let Trump slide, like the song is singing, but we're going to hold this other Republican accountable.
Do they think a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
Well,
you know what I mean? I think it's both.
I think what it is they think that they can get something from Trump.
Yeah.
Whereas Christian Ziegler and his wife down in Florida, they don't have the stroke. They think that Trump's going to give them tax breaks and give them all the other things they want policy wise, and that's why they look the other way on what he does.
Yeah.
But these other people, they're low level.
So shameful, man. God. But seriously, just shoot me in the face if I ever do something like that. Or I look the other way on a Democrat because I want something. Who cares if Biden's accused of raping little kids? I want my tax cuts. Like, what?
Oh, what about him sniffing children, Stephen? I mean, he sniffs little children.
Okay. Who doesn't love the smell of a child?
I get it, dude. I would not look the other way, and that's something that we are not even in when it comes to conservatives, liberals, Republicans, Democrats.
And that is one of the most grandpa things I've ever heard. I love the smell of a little kid. Like, yeah, grandpa,
completely. I get it. You also like your Werthers. I get it.
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hey, Bruce.
Enough said.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Brewski, what is your opinion on Ron DeSantis wearing high heels in those boots? Do you think it's happening?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
You do.
I mean, I have a pair of cowboy boots kind of like that. I got it at a thrift store, and they give you a little bit of lift, but I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, so I'm not wearing them for that reason. This is kind of what the heels are,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the boots. We've seen the thick sole. We've seen the heel. Obviously, they're lifting them.
But do we think that he's wearing high heels in those boots? Women's high heels in those boots?
No, not high heels in the boots, but he could be wearing lifts inside the boots. So you've got
another inch
heel
or so
part,
on.
and then there's something on the inside about an inch or two that would lift him up a bit higher.
But people are saying that he's wearing women's high heels in those boots.
No, that
makes no sense.
Yeah.
You should snap an ankle.
You can just look at the outside of the boot, and the sole is thick, and it has a heel on it, so it's clearly giving him at least another 2 inches.
All right.
And he's tried to deny it, which I just find comical. Like, dude, you're wearing boots that have a heel on them, obviously.
I know he wants to be taller. He wants to, feel like he's a bigger man or whatever. So I just thought I'd ask you.
Skee-Lo had that song. I wish I could be a little bit taller. I wish I could be a baller.
I wish I had a 6'4" Impala.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember.
That's what Ron DeSantis looks for.
I wish I had a rabbit in a hat. Okay. Listen, Pope Francis, my Pope, is making headlines as of now, and I thought I'd get your opinion on it. Pope Francis has been...
My favorite of all popes, by the way. That's a low bar, but my favorite of all popes.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. I appreciate that. He's a favorite of mine, too. So
just because he's the most progressive pope I've ever seen. I mean, he's not like lefty liberal, but he's pretty darn progressive for a pope.
Yeah, he's real progressive for a pope. Yeah. And he has come out now and said that, put a memo out to everyone in the Catholic Church that now it is okay to bless same-sex union in the Catholic religion.
In case anybody doesn't know, God calls it an abomination. It's an abomination.
Yeah, but that's what he put an asterisk on it.
What?
Didn't he put an asterisk on that?
Well, let me explain it to you, because this is somewhat common already. Yes, is the answer, but this is somewhat common in the Catholic Church already. Is that he's saying basically, like, we can start blessing marriages, which is already a big deal in the Catholic religion, because a lot of people in the Catholic religion, if you get divorced, if you don't get that marriage annulled, then you can't get married again in the Catholic Church. Okay.
Let's go see Elvis.
Yeah, you got to go down to Vegas and get it taken care of. He has said, yes, we're going to start blessing marriages, which is not marrying them inside the Catholic Church, but it is blessing their union under their religion outside of the Catholic Church. Tiny steps is what I'm applauding here, because no one's ever done it before, and people are up in arms about it.
Yeah. I also thought he said something like, though, that it couldn't look like a wedding. Like, it had to be a union that wasn't done like in a church with the bridegroom set up and all that. Like, they can have a union, but if they make it look like a wedding, then they're not allowed to bless it.
The move is a complete shift to endorsing same-sex marriage. The blessings can only be performed outside of regular church rituals or liturgies. It cannot be conducted at the same time as the actual wedding or whenever else the union officially begins. So this is something, you know what, Rachel and I had our marriage blessed. Okay.
After the fact or at the time?
After the fact. We got married outside the Catholic Church. My brother married us, and then I went to the priest that I grew up with, and he blessed our marriage, albeit in the church, but he blessed it in the church.
Was he butthurt? I mean, did he say, like, how come you didn't get married in the church? What's up?
No, I told him. I mean, you know what? And that's the thing, is that some people are going to be staunch about this and do things, my priest that I grew up with, first of all, very great guy, and he was always very liberal, and that's why I enjoyed being, around him during my upbringing. But he said, like, what was the deal? How come we didn't do it, the first time? How come we didn't have the wedding in the church? And I just told him, my dad was sick, didn't know if he was going to make it, so we had to do it. But we'd like to come and get it blessed in the church. He was like, okay, yeah, no problem. Put it on the books.
You didn't tell him, listen, we got married on the beach in Hawaii, and then he would have just said, oh, okay, I get it. No problem.
He would have been fine with whatever.
Dark, dingy church, beach in Hawaii. I don't know.
So it's a small step of progress for people, who are Catholic, and, some Catholics aren't liking it though. So this is where it's a little bit of
a backhanded compliment, but I'll take the progress side of it.
I
call it a day.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, just open it all the way up would be my hope, and say we're going to do that. But as you know, the Catholic Church is a very powerful organization around the world, dude. And so for him to make any of these steps, I appreciate.
Yeah. No, he's done a lot of stuff that have upset his own flock, and I can appreciate that. Rock on, Pope.
Rock on, Pope Francis, dude. All right. You got anything else, Brewski?
I have
a Christmas story, don't you?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that one now.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nope.
Okay, so the headline of this says, Grinch tries to steal Christmas, stands in front of elementary school with Santa is fake sign.
Oh, I think I saw this dude. Yeah, this is some Bible thumper, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So here he is.
Talk about upset Catholics or Christians or whatever. He's going to go run around telling school kids that Santa's fake.
Yeah, exactly. So it says, the Grinch tried to steal Christmas. Dressed as the Grinch, David Grisham carried a sign during the morning drop-off at Sleepy Hollow Elementary in Amarillo, Texas, that read, quote, Santa is fake, Jesus is real, end quote.
Right.
Wow. Parents, as you might imagine, were not happy to see him. One dad grabbed the sign and threw it on the ground.
Right. Now, first of all, there's as much proof that Jesus is real as there is Santa is real, just for the record, everybody. But, yes, this is a really, I'm all for freedom of speech, and I love First Amendment audit videos. I watch them all the time about pressing the limits of where you can practice free speech, like in post office, government buildings and stuff. But
yeah,
it's a common practice to do this stuff around elementary schools to test those limits. And we had a family here in town. Their house was right next to the entrance of my kid's elementary school. And they had, in the 2016 and 2020 elections, all of the F. Biden flags out everywhere, all over their house. So as you're driving into the elementary school, you have no choice but to see the F word everywhere. And you can't stop them. It's freedom of speech. But you want to think that maybe there's some level of humanity in them, that they're not going to involve children in these debates.
Sure. They did it specifically for that reason, I'm sure, because they knew it would rile people up.
Yeah, and like Brewski's saying, some dads went over to this dude and got in his face and grabbed the sign. And, on one level, I don't blame them. I mean, don't freaking tell my kid Santa's fake. Like, this is traumatizing stuff you can do to children. And it's opening a can of worms. But I get he has the right. But, I might be one of those dads that goes over and whispers in his ear that I'm going to effing tear your head off when I see you leave the campus today. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Tough one. Yeah.
It is a tough one, dude. There was earlier this week, there was a group of people that petitioned to have their Christmas display in the town building, this government office. Mm-hmm. And, they had the menorah in there. They had Santa Claus. Well, a satanic religion wanted to set up their, they set up this, the statue of a guy and this little altar and stuff like that.
The goat head and everything.
Yeah, that's right. And a guy went in and tore it down, obviously a Republican guy. And they were defending it on Fox News and saying, like, this is Christmas. How about a little decency, and blah, blah, blah. This country, is based off Christian politics. And I'm like, no. This is a freedom of religion thing, dude. If this is a religion, shouldn't we? Yeah, I don't want to see it.
If you're going to open the door to one, you got to open them to all. It's the classic, like, we should be letting God into schools again. Well, which God? You okay with all the gods, are you? Oh, no, just mine, because mine's the real one.
Exactly. If we're going to like it, you got to like it all the way. And I love that the Grinch did this, dude. I love that the Grinch did it. But,
Listen, if he had done it on a public intersection or at the town mall or whatever, fine, you idiot, do your thing. Showing up to an elementary, because that was his whole point, is I'm going to stick it to these kids,
Yeah.
That's just, that's not cool.
Hey, your kids still believe in Santa? Steve.
Let me see. No, they don't. Definitely not. But I'm trying to remember the evolution on that one. Neo, it took, I want to say Neo was into like early middle school before they finally, figured it out.
What's that age? My son, like 11, 12?
Yeah, somewhere around, 12, give or take. My all too clever son, though, a couple of years ago, he went to his grandma and said, "Hey, Grandma, I know Santa's fake." And Grandma was like, "Oh, you figured it out, huh?" And he was like, "No, but now you just confirmed it."
He's so your son, Grandma. Dude.
Yes, he tricked her into admitting that Santa was fake. He was just throwing it out there.
That's hysterical. I asked my niece, who is 11 this weekend, I was like, I never know, dude. So I'm just like, what are you hoping for from Santa this year? And she was like, Santa. And I was like, oh, you believe in Santa Claus, right? And she was like, look, I believe in Santa Claus. I believe in the spirit of Santa Claus. I don't think he brings me presents. Yeah. I was like, all right, well, that's a little evolution. You believe in the spirit of Christmas then, I suppose, right. Which is a good thing. But
and somebody had taught me once, I think it was my aunt, a very proud progressive liberal, my aunt, God rest her soul. She told me what to tell my kids when that came around. And it was pretty brilliant. So what I told both my kids when they realized Santa wasn't real, quote unquote, is I said, okay, Santa is not real necessarily, but the magic of Santa is. It's something that us adults perpetuate so that you kids can experience the magic of Santa Claus. We're the Santas, but we represent it through this figure. And now that you know Santa isn't a real thing, now you get to be on the other side and you get to share that magic with other kids that aren't old enough to figure it out yet. So Santa is real in a lot of ways because we make him real. Is he a guy in a red hat? No, you're in on that now, but now you get to be part of the magic of it.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. I always wondered why we weren't afraid as little kids of a man entering our home down a chimney. You know, like that was never weird to me as a kid, even when I believed.
When I watch people sleeping, I get the cops called on me. But Santa, he knows when you're not awake. He knows when you've been bad or good.
Breaks into your house and eats all your crap and leaves, dude.
Yes.
Well, you leave it for him, so I mean, it's not like he's stealing it or anything. You expect him to eat it.
Get there though. So.
You're right. Yeah. Why didn't we just say, oh, we leave the door unlocked and he makes his way in? Why does he come down a chimney, dude?
Right. And what if you don't have a chimney? It's all magic.
Chimney's
just one.
Yeah.
It's like the human body. There's multiple ways in. Take advantage of all of them, I say.
You are getting horny. It's December holiday horny time, dude.
Well,
Mr.
Grisham was asked if he understood why the parents would be upset. He said, I understand why they were upset. They're upset because they're prideful and don't want to admit that lying to their child is wrong. Now, I will tell you this. I do not believe it is wrong to lie to a child.
Nor do I. I don't either. And I mean, I'm not a parent. So
there are balloons in the van, kid. Come over here.
No, you know, sometimes you gotta lie to your kid. You know what I mean? Like, what happened? What happened to Sprinkles? Did she die? No, she just kind of went away, and I'm not sure if she's coming back. You know, stuff like that.
Yes, there are age-appropriate lies you have to tell because you can't just be completely honest about everything. And,
exactly.
And again, though, the hypocrisy of like Santa's fake, Jesus is fake too. You have no proof of either of them being real. So stop being a douchebag about it.
There's a lot of things that come out as you get later in life. We were sitting around playing a card game on Saturday with my mother, and somehow we were talking about this little store that was in our hometown. And Rachel was like, did your mom even know what happened there with you when you were young? And I was like, well, no, but now she's sitting right here and I'm sure she's curious. She's like, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I was like, no, I might as well. I tried to steal a pack of cigarettes from this certain store when I was a kid. And Rachel was like, a pack? Tell the truth. I was like, okay, a carton. I tried to steal a carton of cigarettes. And she was like, you did? I was like, yes. And I never did it again. I got caught. Never did it again.
Nikki,
how'd you try to get it out? Under the arm? Down the pants?
Oh, I put them down my pants and they fell out of my pants as I was walking out the store.
Dumb. Criminal.
Criminals?
That's great.
Yes, Brewski.
You're married to a narc? I mean, come on.
I know. I was like, when we left, seriously, because I shared so much with my mom, but when we left, I was like, what the hell was that, dude?
Right.
Why, I mean, come on, dude. Why would you
Rachel
bring it
is
up
an
like
officer
that?
of the court. It is her obligation to be honest and forthcoming.
Takes her oath very seriously, dude.
Right. Thanks, narc. Jeez.
Yeah. I was pissed.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, gentlemen. Well, that'll wrap it up. Another edition of Need to Know News you need to know. Thanks for joining us on the podcast today.
Indeed. TheVocalMinority.net. Find us on the socials. Help spread this good word already, please.
Brewski.
Yeah.
Please.
Goodbye, Brewski.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, Big Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.